We're changing our diet to spiders today.
The
Hello. We'll see if that actually comes off as like a good intro or not.
Welcome back to episode 7 of the Turbo Dude podcast. We're thrilled to have you back here. Today we're going to be reacting to clips from different pieces of the red pill manosphere. I've assembled some, Aaron's assembled some. See, let us know if you agree, disagree with what is being said here. This is the first episode that we have done that is not live in studio because I will be having surgery. Aaron will no longer
doing stuff.
Aaron will no longer be with us.
I'm dead now at this point.
The following week we will be back. If you are an audio only listener, there will absolutely be enough information that you can follow along, on Spotify and Apple Podcasts. But if you want to actually see our reactions, hop over to our YouTube channel, which is Turbo Dude Podcast. Almost forgot the name for a second there.
That's okay.
YouTube, Turbo Dude Podcast. We'll see you over there and let's dive into it.
Let's do it.
So I found, you might know this guy. You might know his face. I kind of hope you don't.
Okay.
He's sort of my new favorite person to follow online.
Lovely.
Yeah, maybe my girlfriend's the most loyal girl in the entire world and she would never cheat. Would you park your Ferrari in the hood, even if you had the best security system in it? No, because you don't want fucking motherfuckers just taking a baseball bat and cracking the shit out of that thing, right? You can have the most secure safe in the entire world. Motherfucker, you can have Fort Knox with all your fucking money and all your valuables in it, right? And probably nobody can crack the code. But if you were standing there, would you let people take your safe and throw it off your roof and smash it and try to break into it? Probably fucking not. And you guys will only learn and find out if you don't listen to me and you say I'm talking shit. You'll only learn when it happens to you. And you'll be like, damn, I should have listened to Spence.
So is that what his name is? So my first reaction to this is I think he's getting two things like conflated. I think that's the right word. Conflated.
Yeah.
He's talking about like physical safety of like an object like a car, and he's making the comparison with women.
Yes.
Physical safety is something completely different than like trust in a partner.
And I think oftentimes in that argument, they get turned into the same thing. Like, I'm
Right.
just concerned for your safety, babe. That's why I don't ever to go out without me.
That's the big thing. I think that like, if my wife was like, hey, can I go into like the worst part of like Denver or Colorado Springs?
Alone.
I'd be like, that's a horrible idea. Don't do it. Like there's a good chance you get robbed or something worse.
Yeah.
That's what I feel like he's making an argument for this physical safety of like the car or the woman.
Yeah.
But really that's not what we're talking about. We're talking about like, because he mentioned cheating, I think early, right?
Yes.
Like he said his woman would never cheat on him. That's the problem. But he's taking these two different ideas and like melding them together into one like equally as bad sort of like Instagram video or reel or whatever you want to call it.
Yeah, and I think comparing women to cars or like women to objects is what a lot of this rhetoric kind of falls back to that.
Right.
And I think the arguments on the surface can kind of sound convincing sometimes if you don't
It definitely
think about
does.
it a little bit deeper.
Girl won't let you go through her phone, and you just gotta think there's a reason why. And everybody will have a bunch of excuses. All the girls will have excuses like, oh my God, it's my privacy, it's my privacy.
It's
I want a
sad music.
relationship where I have nothing to hide, you have nothing to hide. No, I'm not gonna go through your phone, but I need to know if I want to, and if I ever feel some type of way or I have a suspicion about something, I'm able to.
His rationale is like he should be able to when he wants to.
Yes.
Am I getting that correct?
Yeah, not that he's going to, but that it needs to be open to him in case he wants to.
Well, I'm trying to think about this the way that like I work with like my wife.
Yeah.
And like she doesn't like go through my stuff. She doesn't go through my phone, but like she'll ask for my phone for something else. Like maybe her phone's not around or something. I have no problem giving it over. If someone doesn't want you to go through their phone, I don't know. Like if I asked for Megan's phone for something unrelated, and she was like, "No, you can't have my phone." That would be really weird for me.
Yes.
Mostly because like if Megan needed my phone for something, like I'm happily giving it over. I don't have anything.
Yeah, absolutely.
So I don't know. This one seems a little bit more legit compared to his other ones.
Oh yeah, I was like, oh, this is kind of an interesting.
This seems like
conversation
perfectly
point.
legitimate.
So I heard a clip from some podcast the other day that was like, if you're in a relationship with someone, you are sharing the most intimate parts of yourself with them. Like if you're engaging sexually, like all of that. Why would the line be, you can't look at my phone? I was like, that's an interesting argument, because my perspective on it is if it's not established and agreed upon, it's a violation. It's a relationship violation to then go through someone's phone. If it's not pre-established, that's an open book for you. Okay,
I guess like the interesting part of this would be if a partner told you early on they do not want you going through their phone.
Would you stay with someone if that's
Absolutely what they said?
Not. Okay.
No, there's no way.
I don't think I would either.
That seems like I don't really have any secrets from my wife.
Yeah.
And I can't think of anything beyond like maybe like my wife like having a private conversation with like a close friend of hers where I'm not like
about something like personal.
Yeah, I mean if someone As long as it's not like harmful to me in any way or someone else, like I don't really think I need to know like everything.
Yeah.
I'm also not ever going through my wife's messages because I have trust there.
Yeah.
But if she like made a specific point of like if I needed to get into her phone to like access a map or something,
Yes.
and she was like, no, don't look through my phone.
Yeah.
That seems like a pretty big red flag to me.
I would agree. I think pretty universally.
I think Spence is on for this one.
Yeah, I think, well, and I also like that he said, no, I'm not going to go through your phone, but I need to know that if I wanted to, I could. I kind of agree with that in a relationship.
I think I agree with everything that he said.
Like every relationship I've ever been in, that's been the case where like.
Wait, okay, is Spence part of like the manosphere generally?
I think he's trying to be.
Okay. Like this is like kind of in line with what we've been saying since the beginning is like 30%. Like 30% of the manosphere, like they do good things sometimes.
Points are dead on sometimes.
But it's like 30%. That's about as far as it goes. And this is right in line. I think the first two clips that we watched were like, eh.
Oh, and there's another one he has where he talks about like, I want to be the best man I possibly can be in a relationship. Too. And that was like right after the I keep my girlfriend in the basement one. It's like, what do you
think like they're trying too hard.
This is confusing.
Happen if I put a girl in those kind of scenarios and she doesn't act right or doesn't make the right choice, I'll keep fucking her, but I'll fuck her different. You go from all that nice shit to just fucking her like she's, but not in a good way like she's nothing, in a bad way like she's nothing. The real G's know what I'm saying here. There's a difference. Yeah, there's a difference.
And you'll speak to this about it's because in that moment you have her in her most vulnerable place.
That's right. That's right. That's women, especially during sex. That's when women are most programmable because they're most vulnerable. Like, if you get a bitch and she's just about to come and you start saying in her face, I'm going to cheat on you, you fucking slut. And she comes while you say you're going to cheat, she's going to end up getting horny next time you cheat. The G's of the game know exactly what I'm talking about. And you can do that. Gradually over time, if she ain't acting right, you can change the way you fuck a bitch to make her start to get insecure about he doesn't actually care, he doesn't actually like me.
So the part of that, I know, I need a moment after that as well.
Jesus, Joe.
By the way, this is like everybody. That's Fresh and Fit, Rolo Tomasi, Andrew Tate, Justin Waller. The part of that, a woman is most vulnerable when you're fucking her.
Programmable too.
And programmable. And they're all like fucking cackling over that. Like that's how you manipulate someone.
Boy.
How fucked up is that?
I'm trying to like collect my thoughts here.
Yeah, take your time.
The first thing that I thought of was like, oh, like when I watched Justin Waller on the Iced Coffee Hour,
yes,
I kind of liked him a little bit.
Same.
And now he's a fucking douchebag on this.
Yeah.
Like him sort of agreeing. I mean, but that's kind of what he is, right? He's kind of like Andrew Tate's lackey,
he's
more
like
or less.
Yes man to stuff.
It's kind of pathetic watching him like next to Andrew Tate, like looking up to him like he needs approval.
I know.
It's fucking
Daddy
pathetic.
Tate, like
it's just sad to hear this kind of stuff. But this is exactly why like I have so many problems with the Red Pill movement generally is because there's significant disdain toward women.
Yes.
And there's a lack of respect. It's all about trying to like do everything you can to like work them for your own like physical benefit.
Yes.
And that's why like I have no respect for any of these men.
No, yeah, and the like laughing in the middle from Myron of like, yeah, you dumb slut. Like
no real man gets their advice from any of these fucking guys.
And this stuff is the reason why, like, there are people in my life who I've been like, do you know who Andrew Tate is? And they're like, oh yeah, no, like, I mean, like, yeah, maybe a little controversial, but like, I like some of his stuff. And I'm like, I always want to be like, can we sit down for like 4 hours and can I take you down the rabbit hole of what these people actually believe? Because the top level of like, work hard, build yourself, or maybe some like funny, controversial takes. Okay, cool.
Mm-hmm.
Like, we can all get on board with pieces of that. But then this is the shit that I believe that they truly believe.
Oh yeah,
about women.
Well, this feels like a very comfortable like setting for them.
Yeah, this is like them. It almost feels like there were microphones somewhere that there shouldn't have.
This is like the really sad thing. Like if Andrew Tate only like pushed like truly traditional like treatment of women.
Yeah.
The way that like, you know, it should be to some degree, like from their perspective.
Yeah.
And didn't add in all this extra garbage, he'd be someone that I could actually respect as having a different opinion than me.
Absolutely.
But there's so much like vitriol toward women.
Yeah.
Like if you're not getting that from this clip, like I don't know what you're doing.
Yeah. And yeah, this like so perfectly encapsulated because it's all of them like in one place at one time. Laughing about this shit. It made my skin crawl.
I have an alpha male diet. Now, what does that mean? It means I only eat predators. Okay, do not put a prey animal on my plate. I will not touch it. Now, who's the number one predator? Pound for pound? It's spiders. Okay, spiders can take down animals 1,000 times their size. So I eat anywhere from 3,000 to 4,000 spiders a day. People are saying that's too many spiders. People are saying you shouldn't be eating any spiders. I'm saying you're listening to the beta FDA telling you need a balanced diet.
Do you know what's awesome about this guy? This guy is actually more believable in what he's saying than Spence was from earlier.
So true. I'd be like, all right, the alpha spider diet, maybe.
This guy's fantastic. He's like truly committed. I love it. We're changing our diet to spiders today. So have you ever seen this one before?
No.
So I think her name is Estee Williams. I believe that's the correct pronunciation.
Yeah.
So she prescribes to a super traditional, like 1950s-esque relationship with her husband.
Okay.
Where like if you look at any of our other videos, it's hard to find one that like we could actually show because there's a bunch of music.
Oh, fair.
We'll probably have to change the music on that too.
Will, yeah.
But she like loves being like a trad wife and is a huge fan of it. And a lot of people, I think that was part of what this video was about, like had very like extreme reactions and thought that she was doing this really bad thing by pushing traditional like trad wife as something that she loved.
If it's presented as like, here's how I'm living my life and I really enjoy this and this relationship structure works for me, fantastic. I am definitely not against traditional relationships. I would even say I generally prefer a more traditional relationship.
Mm-hmm.
Because I get to make that choice, right? Yeah. Not because it's prescribed to me or I'm told it's the only role I can possibly have.
Because we talk about preference and like a lot of what we talk about here on the channel. And like, if somebody has like discussed and like thought about it and had an internal conversation about how they want to live their life, if they're not hurting somebody else, there's no problem on my end.
Yeah, and I mean...
Or themselves too, which I don't think this qualifies as like any sort of internal hurt.
No, I think traditional relationships can work fucking fantastic for a lot of people. I don't think there's a damn thing wrong with that.
I was just curious.
Yeah, no, I like it. This was a good clip to go through.
Years ago, I thought that I had it all, and there was something missing from my life. So I did things with the guy who treated me like a princess and would have been the best husband to me. And I started chasing this feeling that was never matched.
That unexplained feeling that she could do better, that's called hypergamy. Red pill guys have been talking about it for years. It's the woman's biological need to always look for the best possible mate she can find. A lot of women are always looking to trade up. It's biology, it's psychology, it's in their DNA, it's science. It's also one of the reasons why a lot of modern women will never be truly happy.
First of all, I think it's really interesting when people repeatedly say, it's biology.
Science,
it's science. It's science, Aaron.
Uh-huh.
Do you think these people have ever looked up anything about hypergamy or studies that have actually been done around it or anything like that?
Probably not.
First of all, she didn't say that she traded up. She said she left a relationship to chase a particular feeling, right?
Mm-hmm.
I think hypergamy is primarily bullshit.
Mm-hmm.
Like the way that it's talked about, no, women are not always looking to trade up. Why are they so angry about this?
So I don't think this is actually an example of hypergamy at all.
I don't think it relates at all.
No, I think that like the woman is saying, so what's interesting is she described, I think the woman's description of her event was actually like not exactly the way that she said it.
Yeah.
I think what she was saying was that I was dating this particular nice guy who treated me
great.
Like a princess, which kind of talks to that like pedestal idea that I was talking about earlier.
Yeah.
Where I think that reeks of desperation in some ways sometimes.
Yeah.
And I think that like that's not attractive. And so she started looking for something else. That's what I think was actually happening. I think that was never going to be a workable relationship to begin with. Someone that like treats you like, I mean, like if she really enjoyed that, she wouldn't have left it.
Yeah, if it was
I would say in most
situations.
situations. In most situations.
I wonder if this also sort of hints at the idea that someone thinks that if they treat someone like a princess, that person should stay, period, end of story.
I think that goes into like the I'm a nice guy.
Yes.
You should love this.
That's the feeling that I get from that, where it's like, yeah, this is just very much nice guy vibes.
Yeah.
Which
That's what I got.
I'm always very concerned for, because it gets scary really quickly.
Yeah, but him saying this is like a great example of hypergamy is complete nonsense.
I don't think, yeah, she didn't talk about trading up.
Men care about a woman's past. Women care more about a man's future. So if you find out that this girl you're dating used to be a stripper or a hoe or a Cardi B type girl, I don't care where she's at today. It's like, I can't bring this girl out in public. If a woman finds out that that dude used to be like homeless, like had sex with a ton of women and just was like an asshole, whatever, but now he's cleaned it up and his future looks bright, women will jump all over that. 100%. Versus a man will not go back and try to relive a woman's checkered past.
I would say that there is some truth to what he is saying. I do think this comes back to the ideas of purity, though.
Yeah.
Like, that's what that hits on for me, is that, like, if you aren't pure enough for the man, then like you're not fit to be seen in public with, right? But like if you had some kind of past, right? Like if you worked up from nothing or whatever it was, that doesn't matter. And like women don't care about that. And I think there is some truth to what he's saying. I disagree that it's how things should be. And I think it is the way that a lot of things are, though.
Interesting.
What do you think?
I think that men and women generally do care about each other's pasts, though. But I think it's not just women or just men. Like I think that like number of sexual partners, whether it's men or women, does mean something to a partner.
I think it does. I really like in my conversations with female friends, and this is just anecdotal, right? There's been one friend in my entire life who even hinted at the idea that she gave a shit about how many people a male partner had been with. No woman I know actually cares about that. Pretty much every woman I know has been judged for what their number is. I think that there is a disparity there. I do think it makes sense to have a conversation about it, regardless of gender. I think maybe I just sort of get...
I mean, I do think that men and women generally value different things.
Yeah.
I think that men value like beauty in the same way that women value like money sometimes, or like maybe did. I think we're seeing somewhat less of that moving forward as we have more like financially independent women, which is, I think, alarming to some folks.
Yeah, I think that's, I don't want to say causing issues. Well, it is causing issues. The shift in kind of the social contract between men and women. If you're talking about not homosexual, what's the opposite of homosexual? Oh God.
Heterosexual?
Yeah. If you're talking about heterosexual relationships, do you think that there is a difference in the way that men generally look at a woman's past versus the way that women look at a man's past?
I think coming from like red pill manosphere,
yeah,
I think they generally prescribe that you should not be with someone that has had over a certain number of sexual partners.
Certainly they do.
I think in actual practice, most men are happy to find anyone.
Oh, interesting.
I think that a lot of men are very lonely.
Yeah. Oh, I think so too.
And I think that if they find someone that like meets like physical attraction levels, and like is a, like they have companionate qualities with, I think that they're more than happy about it. Huh. You have a very interesting like section of men who will pronounce that they really, really care. But if it actually came down to it, and they weren't on like one of these podcasts and someone walked up to them that was like a former Victoria's Secret model or something, but had maybe slept with 100 people or more, they wouldn't care at all. That's my guess.
Yeah.
I think in practice, most men are just happy to have the attention.
Yeah. You might be right.
Take that how you want.
Let us know what you think in the comment section down below based on your own experience. But that is an interesting take. I've also heard, she talked about, I think it was one of the Fresh and Fit guys. She was like, I know everyone in this space. And they'll be like, yeah, always pay for a woman. I would never let her anything. And she's like, I've seen them out and about. They're splitting stuff all the time. It's like what they say in these like macho manly ways is not always what's actually represented in real life.
I think it rarely is.
Yeah.
Except by maybe like the hosts themselves. Maybe.
So thanks for being here with us for our first reaction video that is not live in studio. Next week, we are going to be back with a live show. Join us. It's actually just going to be Aaron and I again on the 22nd, and we are going to be dissecting the book that I just mentioned.
Indeed.
Why Women Deserve Less. piece by piece live with you guys. So check out the link in the description for that.
It's not a big book. You don't have to worry about it.
Yeah,
too much. Sorry, was that mean?
Pretty,
I
no,
don't
not
know.
at all.
It is
not at all.
really thin.
It's a
though.
really small book, which was great for just like.
I don't have a book.
Through.
Maybe I shouldn't say anything. I don't know.
Yeah, maybe we should write some books and get some cred behind our names.
Maybe.
I can't think of any other way to sign off. Bye.